Hey everybody, it's Steve Reed and I'm back again to talk to you more about mobile homes, manufactured homes, and modular homes. A lot of times people use those phrases interchangeably and there is actually a difference. So this is why you need to use somebody that knows what they're doing. A mobile home are those that were built before 1976. They were constructed on a chassis, transported to a site, and they could be moved. They're often placed in mobile home parks with land leases, but not always. They're sometimes on owned land as well. After 1976, they were no longer called mobile homes. They were called manufactured homes because they had to fall under the HUD code, Department of Housing and Urban Development. They still were built on steel chassis in a factory. They were still transported out and put on a permanent foundation, sometimes one, sometimes two. That's why there were double wides when you see two. And they must meet the HUD standards, but not local building codes. Lastly, you have modular homes. Those are actually built in sections or modules and assembled on site in a permanent foundation. They have to meet local and state building codes. Just like a brick and mortar home, a stick-built home, they're going to fall under all the same regulations. Now I have seen, not to criticize, but I have seen agents placing mobile homes, manufactured homes, on the MLS and calling them modular homes. They're not. And you need to be listed the right way if you want to get this sold. You don't want to have deception in there on purpose or by accident. It doesn't matter. So whether you're looking at buying or selling a home, mobile, manufactured, or modular, on the MLS, which would mean it's on owned land, here's some things you should know. As of April 2025, there are 496 active listings. They range between $5,000, you could buy as cheap as $5,000, obviously it's going to have some problems, and up to $5 million. There are also 1,153 pending homes and 3,888 that sold in the last 180 days. Now, that's a large market on the MLS. I cover everything from Lee County up to Tampa and over to Orlando. So that's taken that whole area into account. 5 million, by the way, was on a 101-acre property. And when you're buying mobile homes on owned land, you're going to get everything from that 101-acre piece of property to just a mobile home on a standard lot. I had a good friend that owned one of those in Northwest Florida, to ones that are on a single lot inside a park. All those cases can apply. Therefore, when you're owning a mobile home on land, you're also going to have to pay the taxes on that. When the taxes on those homes I looked at ranged from $100, which meant that that home sold for probably one of those $5,000 homes on a lot in a park, up to $230,000, and that was probably one on a big chunk of land. And was worth $5 million or whatever. You do still have fees on some of the owned land parks. Now, obviously, if you owned it in that big ranch, that 101-acre ranch, or you owned it on a lot that was just on its own lot, you wouldn't have any fees. But if you're inside a park, you would have fees ranging anywhere from, let's say 100 up to 12,000 per year. So it just depends on where you're at in the park. The one thing about land-owned parks is those are usually have a board on them, and the board's made up of landowners, and the landowners on that board are going to try to keep the fees as low as they possibly can because they own it and they don't want to pay the fees. Consequently, what they're going to do to keep those fees is keep them low, is probably cut down the amount of amenities that you have and get the least possible amount of local maintenance on the property they can get. I'm not saying they're going to be ugly. There's still plenty of nice parks. They still have amenities, bocce ball, basketball court, whatever they may have. I'm just saying compared to a leased land property, it's something I want you to know. They're typically going to cut down. That's the bad side, less amenities. Good side, less fees. So, like anything else, there's some pluses and minuses. With land owned, you will also typically be responsible for the taxes, the lawn maintenance, the water, and the sewer. Once you decide you're ready to start looking, if you're looking to buy, I will email you parks from both sides of it. If you're looking to sell, another good reason to be with Realty One Group and me is obviously I know both sides of the stick very well, and I can tell you I've seen buyers come from leased land over to owned land and vice versa. So you got somebody who's familiar with both sides and can help you on both sides. I hope that helps you. I hope this finds you in Florida in the sunshine having an excellent day. Talk to you soon.